Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 11th of August. Okay, freshly back from a holiday, and well, some of this for me today is just learning. I have not looked at the markets at all over the past 2 weeks, so I just literally taken a complete break from it. Seen very little news, and I saw a little bit of news, but not much at all. And I've come back here with some completely fresh eyes, and well, it's not looking so great this morning at the moment. We'll see what develops. Right, let's look at news events that might affect us today. Basically, there isn't anything coming out today. So it's Monday the 11th here. We've got bank holiday in Japan, okay, and then we've got Chinese new loans. Nothing else to be said or done there. I'm looking for the rest of the week then. We've got the Reserve Bank of Australia rates, which are expected to be cut slightly this time. They're coming out tomorrow. We've got employment data for the UK. That might really start rocking the boat a little bit. I was just looking the previous unemployment figures, 5, that went up, I think. Expected to come in at 4.7. Inflation, US inflation there, so that'll be 2 days of inflation. Yep. So quick key numbers that will be sitting around there is the inflation, and we've got inflation on Thursday as well, the PPI, the Producers Price Index. So both of those important numbers. Not a great deal this week. Australian employment data, so more affecting the Australian dollar by the looks of things. There's a bit of UK, but aside of that, not masses, and a bit of US inflation. So there we are. Right, let's look at what's actually happening with these markets and if there's anything tradable here. So starting off, just looking at the daily view, I'm just going to literally, some of these markets I've got absolutely nothing I can see. I've already been through them. However, they're major currency pairs. Some of you trade them, so I'm just going to run through them anyway. And then hopefully as we get through the week a little bit, I'll just be filtering those down that have got anything to do with we can potentially trade. The euro dollar on the short term, I mean, even on the longer term, here's a bit of a trend back up there. I was just looking at last week. This is a 4-hourly bar on here. You see that the beginning of the week here, looking at the beginning of last week, very flat. The previous week, good, and with some looking like some good potential there. Last week, well, not a great deal of potential by looks of things for a lot of it, and it's consolidating. You see the consolidation in this phase here. It's a bit of a pennant, don't particularly like them. It could go either way. It looks a little bit soft at the moment. As I say, could fire the other way. The general thing is to wait for the break of the trend line, maybe a retrace to the trend line and reaction of that, but it's a lever for now for me. The pound dollar. So the pound dollar, so the pound also came off the previous week. Last week it saw itself regain some of those losses, and really just again it's I mean, the pivots are so pinched after Friday. It looks like everyone was away on Friday. Not a great deal of action through here. Lots of flat periods. We were really eyeing to summer trading. Patience really needed. You know what they say, sell in May and go away. It might be the case of not doing a great deal. You've really got to pick your fight and not be just wanting to trade because we're here to trade. This US dollar yen, I mean, most of last week it was just going pretty much sideward. I can't trade in these sort of situations. Well, can't trade it, don't really want to trade. Having said that, it is catching a little bounce off its daily here. Maybe if we take that out of the way, it gives us a bit more of a clearer view of things, because that big day or big bar really affected things. It could continue up this morning. There may be an opportunity even just back to the prior highs here. It's summer, halfway between the pivots is sometimes all we get, particularly when it's a little bit wider, as we can see here. So we'll look at this post 8 o'clock. There's some potential around that on this lower time frame. See if we get a continuation and maybe jump aboard, as I say, for a bit there. But the overall experience of it isn't great. Maybe one best watched and left. Admired from a distance. Australian dollar, well, we've seen this pushing back up again this previous week. Again, it's flattened out where it is at the moment. So long as these are in this horrible flatness, stand still. Basically, there's a lot of the same here. US dollar CAD. From a daily point of view, well, you can see on the daily point of view it's flattened out. It's not a great deal going on there. You go 4 hourly, you can see it a lot easier. Just the whole week, it's not really done too much, and quite ugly here. Again, it might push towards its R1 there at some stage. It's not the prettiest. I quite like the New Zealand dollar though. It's something I'll keep an eye on. Now this is an end of day chart, so I'm looking at a daily chart here and looking at a potential continuation to the downside. So this is a look at it tonight basically and see what it's done. I mean, it's not having a great effect. I mean, it still looks bull flaggy on the 4 hourly, but on this daily basis, the underneath of the pivot, as I say, it's a wait see here, but it's on my watch list. Probably about the best looking thing on the watch list at the moment. The potential of it rolling and continue to break down. But need to see the day finish before even, so it's maybe something for tomorrow even. Certainly, unless we start getting some bigger movement today, and could do it on the lower time frames. So if I was looking at that, well, maybe below the pivot there could be a trigger into something. Not a great deal else going on there at the moment though, from an hourly basis. But well, I don't know. It's putting lower highs, lower lows in on the short time frame here over Friday into this morning. It could get some traction. So if you were looking at something a bit earlier, but really, I think it's probably best left until tomorrow on that one. US dollar Swissy, really not seeing a great deal with this again. Morning, Stu. Really, lots of sideward action here. Not doing much at all. God, I really haven't missed anything, have I? Anyway, moving on. Euro yen. I'm sort of towards the end of what I'm looking at. Actually, I've got the euro pound to look at in terms of so the euro yen. A lot of these I looked through a lot of the euro pair, the euro Aussie, euro New Zealand, euro CAD, and I've got no interest in any of those. This euro yen, it is pushing its way back to the upside here, but it's horrible on the hourlies at the moment. It's pretty flat. Risky old movement. It has caught the pivot. The R1 could be on. We'll see what happens, but at the moment it's quite ugly. Now I did look at the euro pound here, thinking a moment ago it's got scope of a bit of price action here. We've got this pivot swinging on the dailies there, which has come to a standstill into the pivot. In the short term here, we're seeing this sort of well, I say short term, intermediate term, low term here. We're seeing these lower highs, lower lows kicking in, so it's running towards the downside. We could see if we get a continuation of this. It's pulled back a little bit since I was looking at it about 5 minutes ago, but there's the potential for this to continue to roll in this section. But all in all, on the currency side of things, it's pretty flat there. And well, do we want to just be in a trade wishing we were not in a trade? Okay, let's look at the usual suspects I look at here, coming down to gold. What's been happening with gold? They're not a great deal on the dailies here. It really is range bound. I'm just going to move on from that. There's no point. Whoops, natural gas here. What am I looking at? Natural gas here. That's coming off as it should. Right, back to Western Texas. Right, so this has been coming off quite nicely. this is probably about the best trending market I've seen here over that time, and it's, I say, it's pretty consistent. Crikey, you need some stops on it. It's certainly biased towards the downside, and well, maybe this afternoon if it starts breaking these lows here, we could get a continuation. Normally I'd be looking for the S1, but it's so close, it's quite pinched from Friday's price action. I'd look for a bit more, but I won't be looking to trade this until post 2 o'clock. But if it just chops along and starts breaking down, maybe could get back on the trading radar. Most of these moves sort of generally come from the late morning into the afternoon. So what was this one here? It's turning around the 3 o'clock. So 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock is when the action happens. Anyway, we'll see what it provides us with later. Equity markets, S&Ps. Okay, so maybe looking to go back up to new all-time highs then. Same old, isn't it? Took a dip down early last week, or late previous week there. On the Friday of the previous week, put a divergence in. That worked out quite nicely. That traded as a proper divergence. Higher lows, higher highs kicking through here. And well, looking like it's got more upside at the moment. A bit early on that. The FTSE, it's just kicking to the FTSE. What's happening here? Pretty flat there on the dailies, so it's really more of a struggle to pick trades on that. Looking quite solid this morning with this current hourly buy it's put in there, but all can change come 8 o'clock. So we get the new bar. We might get a bit of continuation, but it's a bit ugly on the bigger picture. The DAX again quite ugly on the dailies here. Really the end of the last month into this month. We're seeing a little bit of a bullish trend kicking through here. Well, it's not quite a flag, more of a pennant here, a bit ugly. We'll see what develops from it. There is the potential here for this to push up. It's not too far away from last Thursday's highs. This could be a bit of a play to the upside if we get a wiggle on. But all in all, looking at most of these markets with a fresh set of eyes, they do look very quiet. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to wish you a great day's trading, and I will catch you. I'll catch you in the morning for you YouTubers. Otherwise, for the rest of you, I'll catch you in just a minute.